Welcome to the first episode of Heroes Charge, and in this episode I want to focus mainly on the Crusade. Now you can see that my team level is 60, but I'm intentionally keeping my heroes at a lower level, in this case 54, but they're just about ready to go up to 55. And I also have about 18, 19 at that 54, 53 level. Now the reason is when I start a Crusade, I can then pull in someone at level 60 from my guild to be able to support my team all the way through hard mode. And that's one real way to just rot the system. As you can see, we've just finished a hard Crusade and we're about to restart a new one. Restart hard. Okay, so first one, remember our level of our heroes was 54, and we're starting off around about 48s all the way through, and we're versing a team level 49 character. 3 stars. What I would usually do here is in the first couple of battles, like most people, try to get all of my teams to be able to take out the enemy without using any ultimates and build up our ultimates, leave them at max, and so we can then make the rest of the game a little bit easier all the way through. Now, because we're starting off, we probably don't need to use anyone from the mercenary camp, but let's just have a look at what is available. And you can see we have 60 Death Mage and a 59 Death Mage, and also a 59 Death Knight. I've usually been using the Death Knight, but now I'm starting to prefer the Death Mage, mainly because I have enough backup and ability to be able to support her right the way through. And a 60 Death Mage could pretty much mince out all the first half of the hard mode anyway, so she's a great one to pick. I can also see Vanguard Warrior there. That one's not too bad as well. It's just not going to really complement my team and give me that assurance, and so I'm going to have to go for the easier choice of a Death Mage. Now I have a choice of a 60 Death Mage or a 59, but you can see by the money count that Crusade one there, 25k, is because it's going to be more expensive. It means that that has a higher team rating as well, and nothing against Shifty, but a higher team rating should mean more damage output, unless if he's built it a little bit incorrectly. But I would probably have a lot of confidence in my teammates that they know what they're doing. So it probably just means that Crystal has put in a couple of extra enchantments, whereas Shifty has left that one maybe only on 1 or 2 enchantments. So we're going to take the 59 Death Mage, and that's going to be the key for the whole battle. Now for the first one, the team at 48 is going to be so low it's not going to really matter too much. What we want to do then is support our Death Mage firstly with Iron Hoof, and that will actually make sure that the team doesn't do any damage at the start. And to improve that as well, we're going to bring in a Commando, so we want to get the damage done as quickly as possible, and then we're going to bring in some heavy damage dealers, Old Curse being probably one of the best early damage dealers, and also Succubus, a great early damage dealer, and just a boatload of damage without having to use their ultimates. And in this case, we're not planning on using ultimates, so that should be a great team to start off with. So this really would be a fairly typical team all the way through, but we just want to charge them up, make sure that first part is done. Now the Death Mage is going to cost 25k, that's fine. Now we're just going to run this battle through, make sure everything is fine. At the moment, Iron Hoof's taking hardly any damage at all. I'm a little bit conscious that the final girl, no, she's just got stunned, so she's down. Okay, there really should be no issues at all in this first battle, but if we have a look at the stats, the big damage dealers, Death Mage, a little bit surprised that she's doing that much damage, because she usually does a real lot of damage with her ultimate, and she wasn't able to use her ultimate at all there. But once again, Old Curse, a huge amount of early damage, and that's mainly through his breath, which is a damage over time. Anything in the front row and the middle row just gets wasted. All the rest is fairly good backup, but in that case, it's fine. Now the next one, I'm not expecting any surprises, so once again a 49 average team. Around about this level, the Phoenix starts to become a real pain. Even worse when they go up through into purple, but if they've been built right and if it's maxed out, that Phoenix can just do a lot of damage if she's allowed to start doing the beam halfway through, on her ultimate. And so just because of that, this is probably a team that will want to rush down pretty quickly. There is another opportunity too, which is that if I get my monkey, he'll be able to put in a shadow image of himself in behind the lines, and everybody will turn around and hit that shadow rather than focusing on the rest of the team. So if I see a team that has something that could potentially do a lot of damage to my team, Monkey is probably one of my primary choices. He also does a lot of damage too, so he should be able to get down the team quickly. Now because Monkey is physical, what I want to do is support him with a lot of physical. So we're going to choose, in this case we'll bring in, I call him the Skeleton King. Even though his primary ability or his purple ability is that he can resurrect, he also does actually a fair bit of damage first up. So in the first couple of swings, he's usually able to top damage meters if the battle ends really, really quickly. Now, I'm expecting the battle to end really quickly because it's such low level, and also supported by the Wandering Spearman. The Wandering Spearman has a really, really good individual heal, and so any damage taken by the Skeleton King will get repaired up straight away. So I'm not expecting to have any health lost by the end of this battle. All we really need to do is support more with physical, a great purple ultimate on Shadowleaf, and it's a bit of a wash who I can put in. I'm trying out Pilot, mainly because backed on to the physical bonus, I'm seeing that when he does his strafe, each of the bullets carries along the physical bonus from Shadowleaf. So basically, once again, I'm trying to get it done as quickly as possible without using any ultimates. Okay, so I'm expecting this to go relatively quickly. Now, an opposing Skeleton King will become really good later on. At the moment, I'm just interested in killing them really, really quickly, so it's not such a great place. In that case, I'm just going to pause it there. The Phoenix was able to use her ultimate and start damaging the rest of the team. Now, because I've only brought in the Spearman with its single target heal, I really want to get this team down before Phoenix uses her ultimate. Now, at the moment, she's done probably about 75% to the team. Some of the team has been able to weather it a bit better than that, but 25% to the team. But that's probably a little bit too much at this late stage. It looks like Phoenix is just about down. We're going to just play this through anyway and see how we go. I'd be a bit iffy about whether I want to retreat and try maybe a slightly different tactic against this one. Well, let's just resume and see what happens. Okay, so at the moment, Phoenix did go down pretty quickly. The team is surviving relatively okay, down to 75%, which isn't that great. But I'm a little bit concerned that Skeleton King is right down there below 50%, and it doesn't look like the Spearman is going to have enough time to pop off another heal onto him. So what do? Do we continue on, or do we retreat? I think at this point what I might do is just retreat and try again without our Skeleton King and use a different tank at the front. Now, ideally, this would be my primary tank to choose in this case if I'm trying to pick a more beefy tank. Not only the early ability to soak up damage, but also just a lot of armor, and that really just drops down the amount of damage that he needs to take. But he's already pretty much got his ultimate ready to go. I'm going to choose a different one. In this case, I'm going to bring in the Savage one. Now, I really like him in taking down teams quickly, especially his armor degrade. If you see the armor degrade go off, it usually means that you'll wipe the team. It's pretty much game over for a team if he gets his armor degrade off. However, in this case, we want to get into the team quickly enough to get to that Phoenix before she actually triggers. Now, in this case, if the armor degrade goes off, hopefully Pilot and Monkey will be able to get in and start prepping up that team. So let's see how we go, see if it's any different. So armor degrade is off, Skeleton King down, Phoenix is turned around because of Monkey, Phoenix is down. Now in this case, Monkey is pretty much causing us to take virtually no damage because of all the shadows that are attracting the damage away. That's why I love him so much. Others may like him just because of the pure damage output. If we have a look at the damage output, Monkey is still, definitely holding his own. Only outclassed in that case by Pilot, but Pilot is there purely as a damage dealer anyway. And so if he wasn't outclassing Monkey, there'd be something, I'd probably be dropping him and choosing someone else. So in this case, we're still just beating up on people that are far lower than my team, and so I'm not actually expecting any real resistance. But hopefully what I'm going to demonstrate is a couple of things to look for when you're picking up a new team. So in this case, we've been versing 48s, and now we're down to 44s, a 43 and a 42. We do notice though that the 44, what is it, the Wind Lady, can't quite remember her name right now, 4-star already. This smacks of a player that's actually really concentrating on their team and building it up quite a lot. And so even though it's a 44 average team, I'm expecting this to be around about the same difficulty level as the 48s. And so usually if I'm coming up against teams that are significantly lower like this, they seem to be the ones that will start to damage your team a little bit more. Usually because the team composition and the makeup of the team and the way that the team works together holds the team together at a higher standard than what their pure level will indicate. But in this case, coming into a battle where they're going to be outclassed and outgunned, bringing in a chaplain is not going to help their team at all. So they're effectively down to 4. Old Curse is going to do a fair bit of damage, especially to the second person behind the tank. So that's going to be slightly of concern. But the rest, I'm not that worried about it. Succubus probably as well. But we're definitely going to clean up the team before Wind Lady gets her ultimate off. Okay, so we're going to try and see if we can get our third tier team geared up. So anyone who hasn't had a go yet, in fact, we could probably even bring in our own chaplain just to get a little bit more, of the juices flowing on her, get her ultimate ready to go. So we're pretty much going to try to match the team here, except we're not going to use our wind ultimates. What we're going to try to do is really just let Skeleton King just bash them down and be supported. In fact, I'm not really liking that composition at all at the moment. The only extra one really is our Not commander. What is it? The only one extra is our captain. But I've kind of left her as 1 star. I haven't really prioritised her, so even if she doesn't come along in all these battles and isn't maxed out, I'm not that concerned. So I'd much rather get points on my Skeleton King. Okay, so we're going to just see how this goes. I don't really like the composition itself, but we're going to be 10 levels above and purples. So I'm expecting us to still be able to outclass them, but we'll just see how we go. So a lot of damage coming in onto the Skeleton King, and I think he's going to lose his first life. Now that's just not going to be good enough, unfortunately. I will be needing him later on, and I will be needing that second life. Not so much so that he can do extra damage, but so that he acts like an extra detraction away from our Death Mage. Okay, so that didn't work as well as planned. What we might be able to do is just start bringing in our Death Mage. We'd really like to level up these two. Probably should think of her name properly, but I just call her Wind Lady and Chaplain. They definitely need to have their ultimates ready. And in this case, we'll probably take somebody who does have their ultimate ready. In this case, Succubus. I'd probably prefer to take in Old Curse. The delay ultimate is just fantastic in this type of setup. And so what we want to do is go in, trigger Succubus ultimate pretty quickly, and then also trigger Death Mage ability pretty quickly. Now, I can leave Death Mage at the front because the amount of damage output from the team I'm going to face shouldn't be able to drop Death Mage by the time she pretty much wipes the whole team. So I probably should be able to take somebody else to get them leveled up. Now, in this case, I probably would like... it's a choice. In this case, I probably would like to get this guy up a little bit. Just really because his ultimate is actually a little bit more impactful, and in this phase of the game all we're doing is just building up ultimate strength. So even if he takes a couple of hits, it's not going to really matter. And I don't think the extra magic reduction is going to make any difference. We're still facing a vastly inferior team, so we're really just going to try to wipe them out as quickly as we can. So, keyed up, when my Death Mage is just about ready to go, we'll just trigger both of them at the same time. Pretty much team down and healed. And you'll see that the 2 damage dealers really are just straight from the ultimate. That's nothing really surprising. Okay, so Succubus was able to kill 1 person, so she actually got a whole lot of, back up to about 1/3 of her ultimate. But Death Mage really cleaned up, and really from now on in, we're going to be playing with Death Mage the whole way through, and trying to keep her ultimate maxed out by the time she finishes the round. Okay, now because of her health is at full, she shouldn't really need any extra support at the front, and just having extra people hit her at the front pretty much guarantees that her ultimate is going to be ready by the next time. You really just need to make sure that her health doesn't drop to nothing by the time she has, gets all that health regen back from all her bats, and that's probably not going to happen until maybe round 10 or so. Okay, so we'll just quickly go back and have a look at the team that we're facing. So this is actually a pretty vicious team. even though they're at level 48, we've got Old Curse, Succubus, and we've got Phoenix. That looks very, very similar to my arena team, backed up just by an extra piece of damage from the commando. 1-star captain out the front, is not going to really worry me too much. But there's a whole lot of incidental damage, not only to my death mage at the front, but anyone else that's sitting, in the first couple of rows. We're going to trigger ultimate really, really quickly, and so Old Curse is probably the only one that'll get his damage over time off. I don't think Succubus is either going to have enough time to get hers off, but when you have anything backed up by commando, things move pretty quickly. I think we're going to be right anyway. We're just going to blast straight through this and see if it's possible. So leave Death Mage out the front. Whoever comes along is just along for the ride, really. And so in this case, all of those still need more opportunities to be able to build up their ultimates. It's really going to be fine. Unfortunately, we don't have any other ultimate to back up Death Mage, so it would be really, really nice to have somebody else in there. But in this case, I think it's still going to be fine. I think the Death Mage still will be able to clean it up just with one ultimate sweep. So in this case, we want to trigger it as soon as it pops. And our Succubus taking a whole heap of damage as the second in line. Just going to pause it before that, before the Phoenix goes down, and have a look. So pretty much everybody getting good increases to their ultimates. Succubus taking half damage though. That's actually fairly significant. I'm not worried about Death Mage at all. Death Mage will get all that back in a second, but Succubus half damage. At this stage, it's probably not going to make that much difference. Sooner or later, I'm going to bring out Chaplain's Ultimate to heal the team, and at that point, I'll be bringing back Succubus. So I'll probably just keep that and just keep going, kill off the game. Death Mage back to full, and off we go again. Death Mage, all the damage. Succubus trying to help out, but really isn't needed. Okay, so 5th battle. All 49s for some 4-stars. Now, 4-star commando immediately says to me that this person has either played the game previously or has researched enough to be able to see the value of the commando, especially in arena. And usually because these are all the arena teams that have been pulled out. And so this person has not only invested enough to pick up commando, but has also continued that investment until they've got up to 4-star. So I'm expecting the rest of the team too to be well thought out and well constructed. So at level 50, 50 team skill, 49 across the board. This is going to be a fairly difficult battle for a 49 battle. So in other words, something that's 5 levels lower than me. I'm going to treat this a little bit more seriously than what I would normally. And it's purely because of that commando 4-star. Vanguard Warrior basically says that she wants to power up somebody. So who's going to sit in the front? Okay, well, that's a little bit weird. Vanguard Warrior coming in at the end would mean that Captain would take all the damage at the start, and I think the Captain would still take damage over top of Vanguard Warrior anyway. So I'm not so concerned anymore, because if that was something like maybe a Phoenix or a Death Mage or something like that, and trying to power that character up before the Vanguard Warrior comes through and defends, I would expect that there would be an opportunity for my team to take a lot of damage, but Captain's not going to do that much to me. Like if she gets her ultimate off, wow, it'll stun me. It's not going to damage my team. Now, my team will definitely get through it. I'm just worried about how much damage I'll take getting there. Okay, so after all that, I don't think this team is actually of that much concern. Succubus will do a fair bit of damage. Moon Lady will do a moderate amount of damage. Unfortunately, it'll do a lot of damage, some moderate damage right the way through the team, the same as Succubus. And they're the ones I usually don't like to face. But Vanguard Warrior and Captain out the front, they really shouldn't be of much concern. Actually, that's an interesting mix. Commando and Vanguard Warrior. Vanguard Warrior would not get any of the benefits of Commando's initial bonus. So it's actually looking a bit more poorly constructed than what I gave him credit for. Okay, so definitely Death Knight. In this case, she's already powered up to her ultimate to full. We'll need somebody else to be able to power up ultimates. Looks like my Phoenix has not even started, and that's probably a bit of a misstep on my part, and I probably should have put her in earlier. What else have we got? Our chaplain's full at the moment, and there's no real need to be able to use that ultimate, and so we'll just work on somebody else. Old Curse is one of my favourites, just a whole lot of damage at the start, and we'll be able to support an early pop of the Death Mage ultimate. And the other one I'd probably like to put in would be that Iron Hoof, especially if it looked like the team was going to use that opposing commando to take us out really quickly. Old Hoof just basically says no, you don't do anything in that, and by the time Death Mage's ultimate goes off, there is no opportunity for them to damage me at all. That's probably going to look okay at the moment. I'm still not going to use any other ultimate apart from Death Mage, I would say, in this first round. Let's see how we go anyway. Now, I didn't get it off before that stun. I'm not super concerned about that, because I wanted to get that Vanguard Warrior as he came out as well. Okay, well, we missed that anyway. So a whole lot of damage by the Death Mage, but Old Curse, man, he just contributes so much. So much early damage. Level 6. Okay. Level 48's 50s against us. Still not really getting anywhere near our level. And especially with the 60 Death Mage, this still should be a fairly easy battle. Phoenix stands out straight away. I definitely want to get her down before she gets her ultimate going. And once again, Commando, level 3 Commando. It's a fairly top-heavy by the looks of it. Brute, Bear and Lightning all up the front. If it's top-heavy like that, they have a chance of being able to drop Death Mage before she can drop everybody else. So it's a little bit concerning. I'm going to leave Old Curse sitting there. Well, or do I? No, I'm actually going to go with a slightly different strategy, which is I'm going to put Iron Hoof in front. All of that initial front damage is going to just bash off Iron Hoof's armor. And so as a single target tank at the front, he'll be hitting all three, and all of them will be hitting him. Now to support him, I'll actually need some healing. I don't think we need anyone that's close to an ultimate at the moment, so we're going to be putting in the Wandering Spearman just for that healing. He will actually chime in a little bit on damage, but his single target heal is what we're trying to do, and try to keep that Iron Hoof at around, if we can stay above 50%, I think we're going okay. Alright, and we're still sort of in building mode. What we might do is try and get a bit more ultimate onto our Frost Mage. Now on the Frost Mage, I'm really choosing her to build up her ultimate, and also to get a bit more penetration on our Death Mage. Because we're going up against 3 heavy hitters at the front, she just needs to be able to get through that armor and take them down. Now I think that setup should be enough to be able to walk right through this. So we're going to trigger our ultimate pretty quickly, even though it's going to charge up the other team. what we're going to do is drop that team. So not dropping as quickly as I was hoping for, but still we're walking away relatively unscathed. Okay, done. Okay, quick look at the stats. Death Mage carrying the team. No one else really chiming in, doing anything. One nice pleasant surprise too was the Frost Mage was able to get her extra armor onto the Iron Hoof at the front. Now sometimes if you're going into a battle clean, Iron Hoof is not a very good choice for Frost Mage because he's stopping all the damage at the start. He doesn't actually take the initial hits, which means that he's not the best target for Frost Mage. So Frost Mage turns around and will usually buff someone right at the back of the team. But because he was already damaged, it made him a viable target. And in that case, even though I wasn't expecting it, that turned out to be quite good for us. Okay, so we're into the third phase now. So 7 through to 9. Level 50 team, 4 stars on a Death Knight, 4 stars on a Windwalker. So this team would be quite tough in the long game. Unfortunately, it's so far below my level still, it's not going to get to the long game, or I'm certainly not going to let it get anywhere near the long game. Old Curse and Succubus backing it up means there's a lot of sustained damage in there. I really want to take this team down as quickly as possible. So what have we got so far? Not that interested in damage prevention up the front, because Old Curse and Succubus is still going to damage our back line. A lot of our team is looking good at the moment. What we'd like to do is actually just use an ultimate, a secondary ultimate of somebody to do a lot of damage. Now, Succubus would be my choice because she's already ready with her ultimate, so we could just go, Succubus, Death Mage straight away. But she is going to pull up a fair bit. Like she'll be still in line for Old Curse and Succubus return, and with that low health, it'll start to become just not a viable option in the long run. I could also use a Phoenix ultimate, but usually the last 3 matches is where I pull that little trick out of the bag, and so I'm going to leave her already charged up, ready to play a different game. I could also pop out a Commando ultimate. In this case, it's not going to really do a huge amount of damage. It's kind of really just going to be a waste of an ultimate. But it's going to be Magic ultimate, which is going to be okay. I still probably prefer the Succubus ultimate out of all of these. Or a Monkey King ultimate. I do like Monkey King in the sense that he can turn both Old Curse and Succubus away, and so they're so not their ultimates, but their primary and secondary abilities hopefully will be able to go sideways, go in reverse, and so that should be a lot of damage prevention in this sense. He's going to be up the front, which means he will take damage, so we'll leave Wandering Spearman in there to help prop him up a little bit. We probably don't need Frost Mage at this point, but is there anyone else that's worth charging up? Oh, I've still got Skeleton King sitting there. He's going to be even more in the front. Yeah, in fact that will actually even work better. He'll most likely take about half damage, but I'm intending on turning the team pretty quickly with Monkey and being able to support heal with Wandering Spearman really quickly. So Death Mage should clean up pretty quick. Monkey King ultimate to start. So let's go. Monkey King ultimate kind of just wrecked their whole team, and before they can even see what's happened, they're down. And the good thing is Monkey King got most of his ultimate back as well. He even out damaged Death Mage. That's actually pretty good going for him.